All right, picture this for a second. You're stepping onto a massive commercial cargo ship. It's this high-stakes, largely hidden world of maritime shipping that literally keeps our entire global economy running. But what does it actually take to learn how to drive one of these floating giants? I mean, how do you even begin to master something that immense?
Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're exploring a highly specific, totally rigorous, and just absolutely fascinating role, the Deck Cadet. Today, we're going to unpack exactly what these men and women do day in and day out to earn their place up on the bridge of a ship.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the inherent tension built right into the role. A cadet is legally a student, right? Yet practically, they're operating as a full-blown working crew member. They're balancing this totally exhausting, hands-on physical labor with rigorous study and professional observation. It is a completely unique apprenticeship out at sea, and let me tell you, it demands absolutely everything they have.
So, to demystify this dynamic role, we're going to follow a ship's safety management system. We'll be covering the dual reality, the chain of command, bridge and navigation, cargo and deck duties, safety and emergencies, and finally, strict limits and learning.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the dual reality, student and crew.
You know, there isn't actually a single international regulation that lists out their exact daily duties, not even within global STCW training standards. Instead, the company manuals really dictate their life. Formally speaking, a deck cadet is an officer trainee going through a structured shipboard training program, and their ultimate goal? To become a licensed officer in charge of a navigational watch, or OWO. Because of this, they are on board to learn the entire scope of the deck department, literally from the very top to the absolute bottom.
But here's the catch. They aren't just out there casually shadowing people. Imagine working an exhausting, back-breaking physical shift only to realize you still have hours of mandatory academic tasks to get signed off. Well, that's the reality of the TRB, or Training Record Book. This is a highly structured program of mandatory tasks, and every single task has to be meticulously signed off by the ship's officers and the master to actually prove their competence. No cutting corners here.
Moving right along to Section 2, the chain of command, learning from the best.
So a cadet fits into this incredibly strict operational structure as an eager learner, constantly extracting knowledge from every single tier. Just look at how comprehensive this education is. The master provides overall supervision. Then the chief officer manages their daily assignments and cargo operations. Next, you've got the second officer, who teaches them navigation and passage planning. The third officer focuses heavily on safety and firefighting gear. And finally, the bosun steps in to teach practical seamanship, rope work, and all that heavy deck maintenance. It's like a masterclass from everyone on board.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 3, brains, bridge and navigation, high-level cognitive work. This right here is the brains of the operation, where precision is literally everything. Up on the bridge, cadets have to focus on high-level cognitive tasks. We're talking operating digital ECDIS, that's electronic chart display and information systems, as well as passage planning and complex celestial navigation. But waiting for them down on deck is the gritty physical reality, chipping rust, heavy lifting, and mooring operations. The cadet absolutely has to master both. It's a wild contrast, right?
Let's detail some of those specific navigational duties up on the bridge, which are typically executed under the very watchful eye of the second or third officer. I want you to just imagine standing lookout in the pitch black of night, scanning a totally dark horizon for unseen traffic or hazardous debris. It is intense. In this high-stakes environment, cadets are monitoring the radar. They're locking in positions using both modern GPS and old-school traditional sextants. They're taking critical weather observations and maintaining the ship's official deck logbook.
Now for a shift in gears. Section 4, brawn, cargo and deck, the physical demands.
We're leaving the quiet, high-tech environment of the bridge and heading straight down into the grueling reality of the app deck. When a ship is in port, cadets dive headfirst into cargo operations. It breaks down into 3 phases. First, they prep. They've got to inspect those massive hatch covers and gear. Then, they monitor. They meticulously observe the loading or discharging, calculating stability so the ship doesn't, capsize. And finally, they secure. They inspect the spaces and lock everything down tight for the rough ocean voyage ahead.
And then, there's the deck maintenance. We're talking about punishing physical labor here, chipping rust, applying primer, painting, and greasing heavy machinery.
They also assist the bosun with major mooring operations. This involves handling these absolutely massive lines and navigating extreme hazards. For instance, they have to stay strictly clear of deadly snapback zones, where a broken mooring line could literally be fatal in an instant. It is no joke.
Which brings us to Section 5, Safety and Emergencies. High stakes at sea.
Think about it. Out on the open ocean, you are your own fire department and your own ambulance. There's no calling 911. Because of this, cadets play a vital role in assisting the third officer with inspecting and maintaining the ship's entire inventory of safety gear. They're regularly checking life-saving appliances like lifeboats and emergent suits, as well as firefighting appliances, which includes hoses, extinguishers, and emergency escape breathing devices.
Because the stakes are so incredibly high, cadets must physically participate in intense mandatory weekly and monthly emergency drills. Whether it's a fire drill, abandoned ship, a man-overboard scenario, an oil spill response, which is known as SOPEP, or a highly dangerous enclosed space rescue, the cadet is right there in the thick of it. They're wearing heavy personal protective equipment, preparing rescue gear, and logging the exact execution of the drill.
Let's wrap things up with Section 6, Strict Limits and Learning. Knowing your boundaries.
And this brilliantly illustrates that despite executing all these massive responsibilities, from complex celestial navigation to grueling deck work, the cadet remains first and foremost a student. To guarantee vessel safety, strict operational boundaries are absolutely non-negotiable. A deck cadet shall not take command of the vessel. They cannot act as an independent watch officer. They definitely cannot operate cargo equipment without permission, they cannot enter enclosed spaces without a permit, and they must never, ever override any safety procedures.
So, this crucial point is summarized perfectly by a core rule found in virtually every single company's safety management system. It states, the cadet must not act as officer of the watch unless properly qualified and authorized. This rule firmly anchors their role as an apprentice. Sure, they are learning by doing, but it's always under the constant, watchful eye of a fully qualified officer.
Which brings us to our final thought. We've seen the exhausting deck work, the precise navigation calculations, the high-stakes emergency drills, and that strict chain of command. So I have to ask, do you have the mental focus and physical grit to master the dual reality of a deck cadet? It's an incredible maritime career that demands an absolute perfect balance of brain and brawn. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you leave today with a whole new appreciation for this massive, hidden world of maritime shipping.